Be fun for you to see our whole team. So on the far left is Mr. Thorbalson, and then you've got myself, and I job share with Mrs. Charles Worsealer, and so we are here, both of us have time. And then Mrs. Johnson and Mrs. Brody, and then Mary Ann.
Me.
Do you guys,
and this was last year with the construction in the background too. So.
do you mind going a little bit over? Is that all right? All right, Mrs. Corman.
Here.
Thank you. Thank you. Beautiful. We turn the lights up.
I like the lights down.
Yeah.
I look better environment.
Moody. So yeah, this is the picture of us last year in the for construction. We're not. That's not representative of what we are. We're not trash. So. I feel like we're pretty good. I don't know, but this is the team that your second graders see all day, pretty much. I mean, throughout passing.
Yeah.
And years of experience?
Ooh, we had a lot. We're not sure, was it 70?
Oh, 78.
78 years experience between all of us.
Yep.
So yeah, I've been here, this is my 15th year, because I had my daughter the first year that I was here.
This is my 3rd year, but my 7th year teaching. So, yeah.
Okay,
Right.
we're just going to talk about, we can talk about anything, but we'll talk about Trip Around the World. And those of you that have had second graders in experience this before, feel free to jump in because we're changing it up this year, and so we thought this was a good kind of avenue to talk it up a little bit and kind of start to generate some excitement about it. So, you want to start with what it is?
Yeah, so it's something that the purpose of it was to kind of create a love of traveling, a love of cultures and customs for our students, and just to experience other cultures that are not their own. For example, last year at the very end of all of this, we showed a movie about different kids going to school different ways, and how some kids it took them, like, I don't know, 2 days to get there, and so just trying to give our students those experiences of that there are people more than us. But also one of the other experiences is they get to travel to each continent, and they get to visit all the other second grade classrooms and get to be taught by the other second grade teachers. So in my classroom we fly Corny Airlines, where everything is corny. And they love coming in, and they love seeing another classroom, they love meeting the other teachers. I personally love to get to know everyone else's names, and I can see them in the hallway instead of being like, hey buddy.
Yeah.
I can say, hey Trent, or hey Mason, so it's just nice to kind of bring that all together.
Yeah, I think the kids love it because it does give them the, at the very end too, you always ask about, okay, if you could go anywhere in the world, where would you go? And they come up with places that starting out this project, they would have never even thought. We hear a lot of Wisconsin Dells, a lot of things like that, which are great too, but we want them to know that someday there's a greater world that you can travel in and hopefully find an interest in something that you are traveling there. And like Mary said, I think the best part for the teachers is that we get to know every second grader, which is really cool because you can connect with so many different kids that way. So that's what we love about it.
Mm-hmm.
So how does it work? So what we do is we make we make passports, and we make suitcases, and we get packed up. And so the students get to learn about what a passport looks like, and that at each continent they get it stamped. So as the second graders move to different continents, they'll get a different stamp after they've filled in all their information. And so by the end of the year they'll bring this home, and there'll be 7 different stamps in there. And it's really they're excited about the stamps. If I haven't given the stamp, they're like, we haven't gotten our Asia stamp yet. Where's our Asia stamp? So they're excited to officially be in that continent.
And this is kind of where all the second graders are right now. So they're getting their passports. We're talking about why do you have to have a passport. We bring in real passports so they can see what actual passports look like. And then we do the job of each second grader keeps a writing portfolio. And so in there they each make a suitcase, so to say. And so everything that they make gets sandwiched between this suitcase that goes into their writing binder. And so this week we'll also be working on, they get to only pick 10 things that they can pack, which is hilarious to see what 10 items second graders think are a must-have on a trip to take them around the world. So that's kind of where we're at right now. And then November, I think the first week in November, we start our first rotation where the kids will actually start moving rooms. And it's on day 2?
Yep, it'll be on a day 2, so if you see on our peak of the weeks, it normally has trip around the world, and sometimes teachers add on there.
Or T,
Or
trip,
TA,
yeah, TATW is
Yep.
what we will often refer to it as.
Yes. Yeah, so then the students on day 2 will rotate to the next teacher's classroom for those 4 weeks. So every day 2, they'll come back to that classroom and continue to add things to their suitcase from that continent. And then after the 4 weeks, they move to the next teacher's classroom. And so they'll just move in a rotation through all the continents.
Typically while they're there, we try to touch on the geography, which, I mean, on some continents you could spend weeks on that, but you try to give them snapshots at least of what it looks like, what the weather is like. We try to talk about animals. It's high interest in 2nd grade, so what animals would you find when you're traveling to all these different places? We talk about food. Almost every continent, we make some sort of craft in the last week. And so we kind of pinpoint one country, and then we end up making something specific to that country.
So, at the end of Trip Around the World, the very end of the year, we have a feast, our Trip Around the World feast. And this is where the students go to the cafeteria and wonderful parents of 2nd graders contribute food and their time and energy and make these plates of all different foods from the different continents. As close as we can without...
With allergies and everything else
Yeah.
we need to take into account.
Yeah. So these are just a quick snapshots of last year's Trip Around the World feast. As you can see, like every table was packed. The kids, you know, I wish I'd taken pictures of the after of all their. What's that?
We had windows too.
Yeah. You know, even like the plates of after. I mean, kids were, you know, asking like, "Are you going to eat that?" And they were just like loving all the different foods, and it's just always a really fun time. The kids at the end of the year, whenever I ask them, "What was your favorite part about 2nd grade?" It's like field trips and the Trip Around the World feast. They love it. So what we want to do is we want to take what they love and we want to change it
better.
Yeah.
Bigger, I would say.
Bigger and better.
Yes.
So,
But of course that means a lot more parent help.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we need you. For our future Trip Around the World feast, we want to know, do you know any dances from other countries, any games from other countries, or crafts from other countries? Do you know any ideas that you'd like to share to make this feast even more than just food?
Because what we ideally see is the food being just one of the rotations, and we would like to incorporate other things aside from just food. We know that the food worked out great and we loved it, but we kind of weren't ready yet, and now we feel like, okay, we got the food thing, we got that under control, now we're ready to step it up and try to add some other things. So
we would just love any ideas if you have them, you know, connect them to us.
or people that you know.
Right.
You know,
Yep.
that is how we've gotten a lot of,
Yeah.
especially with the food, somebody who knew somebody who knew somebody, that worked out really well. So
that's what we got. That's our one of our big things in 2nd grade is the Trip Around the World and the Trip Around the World feast.
Is there a set date or a set week that it will be taking place this school year?
we
The
know
feast.
that it will be, at this point, it's typically it's not the second to last Friday in May,
Okay.
but we have not pinpointed that date yet.
But
I would
basically
think,
it's late May.
Late May.
It's late
yes.
May.
Yep.
Okay.
yep,
And it's normally at the end of the day, kind of after.
everybody kind of finishes specials. I think last year we started it at like 2:15.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you guys so much for coming. Everybody we talk to just loves when the teachers are here, when teachers are at events. So spread the word to all your friends that we would love to see more teachers. But I'm not saying you, I'm not scolding you. You guys are here.
Does anybody else have any questions? We have lots of 2nd grade parents here that have experienced it, or 3rd grade now, but I mean, so you guys have been part of it and hopefully heard about it.
When did they start doing this? I don't think my daughter did it when she was in 2nd grade.
She didn't do it in
Okay.
2nd
I'm
grade.
like,
We
this
had,
sounds familiar to me.
I want to say this is maybe our 3rd year
Okay.
only.
Yeah, I think my daughter
one
my
year
daughter is in
before
5th
that.
grade, and I think she was the first year.
Okay,
Yeah.
I 4-3-2, 4th year this year.
This
Yeah.
will be the
I'm gonna
first.
say I think the first year you guys did it,
okay.
and this yeah.
Yeah.
She can come back.
She's tall enough. She fits in.
I was gonna say I have some friends who are originally from other countries. I might
That
be
would be
able to have
awesome.
like some ideas for some of this. And so how